All right, guys. So you guys are interested in making a part-time Pokemon business. You guys are interested in how you could set this up with the new tax system and 1099s coming just around the corner here in 2023. Now might be a very good time to set up that particular business entity in order to try and mitigate some of these potential taxes that are coming here in this next tax season. So once again, with a small part-time Pokemon business, what options do you have? Well, we'll get right into it after this. All right, guys. So today we're going to go ahead and take a look at what I have done personally to set up my Pokemon business. Now, this started back in 2022 was the official rollout of my business where I went into that business format. That 1099 kind of forced me into it with the concerns of it. And even though they didn't require it last year, I did get a couple 1099s, but they were easy to mitigate for pretty much with the whole business concept that we have set up. And today I'm going to go over, of course, what the foundations are of my business, how these businesses, how you can capitalize on these businesses and what the purposes of doing so, and the overall what is started in my business and how it's began. So without further ado, I'm also going to put out there that I do know that anybody that's a Pokemon fan, he just released a very similar video on how he does it on his end of things. This has been a preset video that I've been working on for over a month. On April 10th will be the first 30 days of some things I was setting up for discussionary and to bring up. This is going to be just kind of a short little series when it comes down to it on this business side, when you're talking about doing a Pokemon full part-time business and how you could actually set this up and the successes I'm seeing in the first 30 days of certain setups that we've been putting in place. Once again, Wednesday's video will be the conclusion of that because as this is airing, I'm getting the numbers for that. And of course, we're going to go ahead and put it forward into Wednesday's video so you can get that collection. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to the foundations of a business. All right, like I said, today we're going to be looking at the foundations of the business. Now, if you sit there and take a look, there's different business options when it comes down to setting this up. Now, once again, I would highly suggest talking to a CPA or a trained accountant to give you the best options for your business. Now, if you're part-time, full-time, making an LGS, if you're looking at an online store, whatever system you're looking at, it may all change the way that your business format should be put into place. But for myself, when I'm talking to my accountant back in 2021, at the end of 2021, going into 2022, setting this up, this is the decision that we came up with at the end of the day was to go with a sole proprietorship. So here in the state of Wisconsin, I have the option of a sole proprietorship. That is what I am running at. We looked at an LLC, we looked at a C Corp and an S Corp. And to be honest with you, here was the reasons why we did not for a business of my size. The number one reason we didn't try and go for an LLC or put that part of it in there. Now you could, if you're worried about someone getting injured, coming to your place, those are really good reasons to have an LLC. The LLC is a limited liability coverage on it. So what happens is that if you have someone with, or if you have liabilities that are to your business operation. So if you're taking out a or a business loan or a working capital, or if you're using credit cards to be able to pay this stuff and it's under the business name, so you create your business entity and you start using lines of capital loans. If you're buying from a distributor, you're probably taking out capital loans in order to keep that money rolling and in order to continue to build that inventory back up and be able to purchase from distributors. That's the biggest reasonings on why you would want that LLC. That LLC gives the business the responsibility of these debts and not you personally. So it creates a break at the end of the day to protect you from the price liabilities or the monetary liabilities that would come with the business. So once again, that's the purpose of an LLC. That, and if someone gets injured, workman's comp, those kind of things were to happen inside the business would be responsible for that litigation, and they couldn't sue you in a personal aspect. So when we sat down and looked at it, was I going to be taking lines of credit currently in order to be able to run my Pokemon business? No, this was all out of pocket. This is stuff that I've been collecting since 2019, realistically 2021 and on. This was going to not have me use my credit cards or business credit cards, business lines of credit. We weren't going to have the liability of someone getting injured or hurt. I'm not hiring employees. I'm not bringing people onto my property to sell them items. They're not going to trip down the stairs or get hurt. And secondly, there's no real danger. The risk factor of someone getting injured with a booster box of Pokemon cards is slim to none. And if they did get injured with it, it's probably not going to be my business's responsibility because it wouldn't be here in my own property And let's be honest, it's not an explosive or a dangerous in that form at the end of the day. So that's why we didn't go with the LLC. The second part of it is the S corp. Now, the S corp is another section you can do for the payment side of things. And when it comes down to it, I'm really not taking payment out of this business yet. Personally, it's just going right back into purchasing the next thing. So I'm continually rolling that money forward to either buy my investment stuff, or I'm sitting there going through and buying it all under business assets to be able to sell in the future. So whether I'm going and buying bulk, whether I'm buying PSA cards, getting cards graded at PSA to bring back and sell, those are all situations and where they are just business assets at the end of the day. And so I'm really not taking a paycheck out at this point in time. Everything's going right back into the business. Even the YouTube side of thing is all rolling right back into YouTube. I'm not taking paychecks. I'm not taking money out. It's either going into buying new cameras, buying lighting, updating computers and doing those kind of things to try and continue to move this forward. So when it was all broken down and laid out and taken into consideration, the sole proprietorship was better, because if I were to go and file an LLC, that's roughly $500 here in the state of Wisconsin to file an LLC and have a lawyer go through and do all the paperwork and finish up that part of it. Next part is to do an S corp. Then that's another filing, and it's another $500 to do that. Plus, it's probably an additional between $100 and $180 to get what they call a shares book, because an S corp now has shares as a business to give away or sell a section of your business to a partner or another person in your business. So if we were to do it, my wife and I would both be able to have shares. But if we wanted to bring in another partner, build an LGS or do something where it's going to be an expansive thing, then you could sell them shares. Okay, you will buy into this business for $10,000 and I'll give you 10% of the business in the share forms. So that's the purpose of the S corp at the end of the day. So that was another reasoning on with me not taking money out, and the whole share factors was not an issue. We decided we're not going to go with the S corp either, and just went with the sole proprietorship, which is a lot cheaper at the end of the day. There's really no paperwork that's involved. You really just file it both at the state level, and then once you get the state filing done, then you go ahead and go roll into the federal side of things and get that federal filing taken care of also. So once again, that's the simplest, best way, the best foundation for my business is that. Now, moving on, we're going to take a look at what kind of inventory we're dealing with currently. So currently, to start out the business, and this is where it's going to come down to on Wednesday also, is we're going to elaborate a little bit further into this. But the one thing I have been collecting a lot of over the last 4 years has really been bulk. Bulk cards have been the number one thing that I've been collecting all the way through the Sword and Shield era. As you can see behind me, of course, right there, you can see all of my different boxes of bulk. That's all stuff that I've been collecting, sorting, and preparing for selling on TCG Player. Now, we are on the TCG Player, and that's what we've been working on the last 30 days is the sales performance of those particular cards. So we will go ahead and go over that on Wednesday. Second part of it that we are currently working on, and it's going to be a little bit longer. Once again, there's 3 submissions out there, is PSA cards. So I've been taking a lot of these nice hit cards I purchased, collections I purchased, taking those cards out, really examining them, and sending them out to PSA, taking a little bit of a gamble. I mean, PSA is going to be a little bit more of a risky proposition than just the bulk grind, but overall, there's a lot better opportunities in it at the end of the day. So the PSA is going to give me the opportunity to be able to take a simple card, single card, and turn it into a higher percentage gain item. Now, once again, there is the risk that it could come back with a bad grade, overall dropping the overall pricing of these things. So currently, there are 3 submissions out there, and as they come back, we will continue to move through those also. I'm hoping to have one of those submissions back. It's been out for about 43 days, hoping that it's going to be going through. It's been on grading now for quite a while, so hopefully it gets the assembly section here shortly, and we can look at that too. So that's what we're really looking at right now in my business platform, or my business areas of going after. Of course, I'm going to do sealed product. I'm going to continue to flip sealed product as much as I can. Once again, finding celebrations at my local Walmart, finding Evolving Skies ETBs is another great opportunity currently as these Evolving Skies products continue to kind of roll out here and there. Overall, sealed product still has a really good place to be able to capitalize on some of that money and some of that monetary gains that would really help out the business. So once again, that's where I'm not taking money out of the business. I'm taking money that I sell and purchasing more items, whether it's going to be single collections, whether it's going to be bulk, whether it's going to be different products at Walmart and things like that. But there's always going to be that continual roll around in my own money, and it's not really leaving the business aspect of things. So I'm not worried about those payments and things like that that would come up if you were looking at that S corp. So once again, that's kind of the foundation and the fundamentals that I've been working on in the last, year, since 2020, really 2022. I went to a fundamental style business, and I'm not putting money into it myself any longer this year, which is a huge step in the right direction for an overall business. So those are the big things. Next thing I want to talk about is going to be overall what you should be concerned about to make your business operable in the end of the day. So once again, here's what you need to be really concerned about for the operation of your business. Now, there's certain platforms you can use. I'm using TCG Player. I'll probably be using eBay. I'll be using Discord and Instagram and Facebook to see how the sales platforms all perform. When it comes down to the PSA cards is really where I'm interested in that. Once again, we'll be looking at these more in depth as we move forward. But the difference is that realistically, TCG Player is very good at selling bulk. Toad and Troll is another option that you could be using for that. There's also some other smaller sites out there, and of course, eBay itself. You could sell singles if you want on there. Personally, I chose the TCG platform just because I'm used to it and I've been using it for quite a while. So overall, it's really easy for me to take a look at it and really lay out the how I wanted that to work out and get it all entered in. I had the spreadsheets, everything already for it. So the Excel sheets were very easy to get into the platform and actually get set up. So once again, if you're comfortable with something, sometimes it's a little bit better to go with that. Next goal on that, of course, is to try and get into TCG Direct. That would be the next option that I want to be working in as I get more sales, as I start moving up a little bit further up the chain, get into that TCG Player Direct. That would be the next step in my at-home hobby business. When it comes down to PSA, we're going to be looking at getting those graded card back. And of course, getting them listed on eBay would be probably the number one spot. So I'm probably going to have to start setting up an eBay store, creating one. Currently, I just have an eBay account that I've had for several years, but it really hasn't had a store involved with it. So it's something that's probably going to be the next level of setup, is going to be getting that taken care of. Also using the graded part of it on Instagram, using, of course, you guys, my YouTube, my Instagram, Facebook, anybody that's looking for these cards that are my following and enjoy these products. I definitely want to have the opportunity for you guys to see them also. So once again, these are kind of the outlets that we're looking for at the end of the day and how we're going to work this through to get them to you guys. So overall, that was the biggest thing is that realistically it's Toad and Troll, TCG Player, eBay, we got Discord, Instagram, Facebook, and all the other social media sites. Even Macari now I'm hearing might be a good platform to be able to put those PSA cards. So we'll look at that as we move further and further into this, and we'll definitely continue to keep you informed on this as we move forward. So once again, guys, that's one thing we're going to be talking about when it comes down to that. All right, guys, just to do a quick little wrap up to finish up the video and just put this all together in a neat little package. First thing I want to talk to you guys, of course, is be sure that you get a CPA, guys. It's going to give you the best options and they're going to give you the best direction for your business foundation. They're going to let you know whether or not what you're doing is a good idea or if you should be maybe changing your idea in order to get the best performance and the best tax write-offs that you can get. Once again, taxes are a big thing when it comes down to it. Having a good CPA to look over those things and be sure you're doing your taxes correctly. Of course, getting the best deductions and the best write-offs and things that you can is important. I'm not saying do anything illegal. Don't go that way, but just be sure that your tax accountant's in the loop and they can give you the best direction to be sure you cover yourself. Also, they're going to tell you which business structure is probably the best for you because it's all going to change. My business structure may not be the best for you, and someone else's business structure may not be as good for the other person, and vice versa. It could just be basically how you're planning on setting this up. Now, when it came down to me, just once again for that layout of it, I am not taking money out of the business, so I don't need that S corp. It's all being rolled back into it. Once again, I'm not taking line of credits and I'm not taking money out against the business in order to be able to operate it. It's all in my pocket to this point, and now it's becoming self-sufficient. So once again, that's another situation where you don't need to have that LLC title on your name until you get to that point. And once again, definitely tell them if you're planning on it, if there's a time frame that you're planning on doing it, maybe in the next year. If you're going to, they're going to suggest doing it sooner just so you're set up and ready to go. And if not, like myself, I'm probably never planning right now, never taking a line of credit out to run my business. So there's really no need for that LLC title at the end of the day. It's just an extra cost that's not necessary for myself. Now, if you're looking at, of course, what products you're going to be selling, that's going to be a big factor in it too. If you need line of credits in order to buy that sealed product and use like an LGS or an online store, you're definitely going to want to be looking for that at the end of the day to be able to cover you with that LLC. Also, that's a good platform to just be able to get product when you can. Hopefully, you can from your distributors because it's been pretty slim pickings right now. So, overall, selling Pokemon products from distributors, me pulling it off of the Target shelves, Walmart shelves for celebrations, and then Evolving Skies as they come back. Definitely another one of those good opportunities out there to be watching. But overall, that may not be what you're looking for on your business platform. For me, this year, moving into 2023, at the end of 2022, I started moving into the bulk. I've been collecting a lot of bulk. The bulk section has been doing really well, and we'll be covering those results when it comes down to it on Wednesday's video, of course, covering all of the sales and how well that performed through TCG Player with the new setup that I did here about a month ago. Lastly, looking at PSA or even single sales, once again, not a bad opportunities, not a bad setup, a decent amount of money. But if you're looking at that $600 at the end of the day, you really need to be looking at these business settings versus just doing this out of your own house without that business for the write-offs, the tax deductions, and things that you could get by having that. So the next thing we're going to do is just wrap this up to finish it. Of course, selling medias. Selling medias are a really tricky thing sometimes. Whether you want to build your own website, you want to use eBay, TCG Player, you want to use Discord, Instagram, Facebook, all of them have their pros and cons. Sometimes sitting down and weighing those out and finding out which one will work best for you is a great idea to do it. Maybe try them. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to set up an account with some of them. Try selling a few products, see if you like the way the platform performs, see if you like the way that they, their requirements are, see if it's something that you want to continue to pursue. And if it is, then you can definitely work more into that as you work forward. Sometimes you'll try one out and you just absolutely hate it. So then you want to move on to something else. Maybe before you build your your website, you might want to try a free website builder and then go that way before you go into an e-commerce site, because e-commerce sites can be very expensive overall to run, and you need to know you have that volume in order to be able to justify the cost. Of course, you got to know that you can pull that off. So these are all things that are very important and definitely necessary when you're starting out your Pokemon business. And even if it's a part-time hobby Pokemon business or a full-time Pokemon business, it's all going to vary how this is all set up. But today I wanted to share where I'm at on this and where we're going. And then Wednesday, we're going to have the conclusion for the TCG Player bulk sales. And then got 3 submissions out there for PSA. So whenever they come back, of course, we'll be working on those too. Hopefully we'll be seeing one of those here shortly so we can get moving on that end of it also. Once again, all in goals of 2023 being a self-sustaining business by the end of the year. So that's going to be the trick when it's all said and done. Overall, guys, hopefully this is a good video. Hopefully this is something that will help you guys out in your decision making and how you want to move forward in your Pokemon business. Also, if you do like this kind of content, of course, hit that subscribe and in the comments down below if you made it this far. Let me know what you liked about this video and maybe what you would like to see more information on that would maybe help you guys with your Pokemon journey and making decisions on how you want to continue moving forward. So once again, guys, thank you for your time. And if you did enjoy this, be sure that you hit that like button before you leave. If you do like this kind of content, of course, I'll put up these 2 videos up next to me, just like I always do for you guys. And we will see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.